Hey, good morning, guys. It's Goose here, and welcome to STN Stock Talk with Ricky and Goose. Hope everybody's having a good short week so far. Um, Guys, just to remind you guys, over at stocktraders.net, you guys can log in over there and check out our free trading room. We have a lot of services over there, but even more importantly, when you do register over at stocktraders.net, you guys could send any type of private messages to any of the instructors. We're always, happy to help you guys out. So please, go over there and register, and we have a lot of things to talk about. I'm going to keep this a little bit short, our intro here, because I know Ricky's got some great ideas this morning. But I do want to remind you guys that there is a disclaimer in the description section. Make sure you read it. Nothing we're talking about today is any type of solicitation. We're just going over some thoughts on some names that we have. And as we've been talking about, every day we're just throwing a couple names at you guys, just to show you. There's a bunch of them hitting the scans. We all know that, especially during earnings. We're just trying to provide a couple quality names apiece and some unique thoughts, and obviously stick to your own game plans and trade them how you will. This isn't for you to follow us at all. With that all being said, I'm going to shoot it over to Ricky. I know he's got a lot to talk about this morning, and I'm actually anxious to hear on some of these as well. So, Ricky, it's all on you, and we'll talk to you guys in a few.
Right on, Goose. Thanks a lot, man. As always, guys, thank you for your time. Thanks for tuning in. First up on my list, we got ROKU. Now, ROKU reports after the bell today, and we are already seeing a gap up from yesterday's close. We traded this yesterday on the long side, and I think there will be a trade in it today as well. If it wants to open strong at the pre-market highs and then push off the open, I'm going to watch for it to show signs of the top and catch an early fade on it. However, if it pulls back before the open and it still has the pre-market highs ahead, I'm going to watch for it to show signs of some support and the price action to let me know that it's ready, hopefully using yesterday's high as a level of support. I'm going to look for a long play off it. It has a high short interest, but at the same time, its valuation seems almost irrational up here, but fundamentals never give me my entries. They may help me form a bias, but the technicals in the end are always going to override the fundamentals in the right now time frame. So fundamentals may eventually play out and show you were right, but you got to make sure that you time things correctly. So next thing on my list, guys, is RCII. It's good old Rent-A-Center. And I'm not sure if anyone listening to this even uses a Rent-A-Center or knows about them, but that probably also speaks volumes as to the earnings miss and why I'm bearish on them. Stocks move on future expectations, and it's hard to have any sort of a positive outlook on a company that isn't relevant anymore. You can see the technical level that it lost the other day at 9 and the giant sell-off since from the reported miss on earnings. The best case scenario for me on this thing is it gets a decent pop either in the pre-market or right after the bell and gives me an opportunity to start in short on it right as close to 9 as possible. The first target is going to be pre-market lows, which you can see are also right at the lows of the 5-year on the weekly chart. I can show you guys that real quick in case you're wondering where that level came from. You guys can look back and see that there were some levels down here around 776, and that just seems to be where so far it's finding a bit of a bounce area. So I'm hoping we get a push back up to that 9-ish level and can bring it all the way back down to these 750s. I actually think in the long run, this thing could be heading towards $5 a share, but I'll be happy to get a nice day trade out of it. So next on my list is AMAG. Now, many have been bearish on this since the day of the big gap up, and that included us. However, we have not fought this thing and have instead stayed patient and waited for price to show us when it's ready. There's more than a few reasons to be short biased on the name, but oftentimes it's these very reasons that make the short interesting or too interesting for people to wait, and the early shorts pile in, and then in turn you get a 3-day move like we've had here. So far yesterday, though, it rejected that key cycle level of 20 perfectly, and then it retraced right back to its 20-minute 20 moving average. From here, if it wants to lose this 19 level, I think it's going to be worth looking at a short using over 20 as your out. However, it very well may have one more push left in it and give us that last squeeze that empties the boat, shaking out all the last of the early shorts. From there, I'm going to wait for it to give a lower high and a lower low, and I will enter accordingly. There's no such thing as entering on the front side for this guy. Last thing on my list, guys, is ANY, A-N-Y. And this thing is a complete turd. They just had a big news of a sale of one of their divisions for $45 million to a private Silicon Valley firm. And I know $45 million sounds like a lot of money, but it doesn't take into account their huge working capital deficit. And the long-term chart shows you everything you need to know about this company, but it's a low floater. So make sure you guys stay safe, stay off the front side. But I will be looking to get short if it can push over 3 and possibly upwards towards 4 or even 5. But as always, it must set up first, guys. So that's everything from me, guys. I'm going to pass it over to Goose. I know he's got a few good ones on his list, and then we will get our day started. Take it away, Goose.
Thanks, Ricky. Great job as always. And just to touch base on a couple that he did, obviously you guys know I covered ROKU yesterday from the long side. I definitely think there could be some continuation today. So I too will look for a weak open as he discussed. And I think there'll be a play in it either way. It's had some nice range, some nice coverage there, Ricky. And also on AMAG, I'd love to see it do that double top he was talking about up by the $20 area for a fade. I think today might be the day, but if it's a day off, like Ricky had said, just don't get trapped in it or anything like that. But I think it's coming towards that time where you're going to get a nice fade on that and probably a $3 pull or so. So I'm right on board with you, Ricky, on that. Great job. I'm just going to go over a couple ones that I know you guys know the names of. Obviously, one of them's going to be XNET, which you see up here right now. What I'm looking at on XNET is I've talked to you guys about from the long side how I like when it's kind of hugging that 20 days or the 50 days. And what I'm seeing right now is this prior. Remember I talked to you guys about prior support levels being resistance levels and stuff like that. So here you have right now, this is a prior support level that it was holding. And now it's kind of getting stuffed in this area. So what I'm hoping for right now, XNET's up by 14, up a little bit this morning, and you've had a pretty big rebound in that coin market. And this thing is still kind of, struggling. So I'm looking definitely for a fade on this up by, I'd love to get it over 14 in this 1430 area. I drew a little line here, this light blue line, which is actually just shows you the 1430. There's an old pivot area right here. But you could see how it's kind of hugging this, 20-day, trending downward here. And I think if it could break, down here, I'm actually looking for, a short up in the 14 for my initial targets down in that 1330 area, which gives me a point, and then to see what it does. Because if it wants to continue, it could speed up a little bit through 13. So I think there could be a pretty decent trade in XNET, and I'm going to be looking today at it for any kind of push to short. Again, this is a name that we know the history on it, so don't get overly biased, but I think there could be a trade in that today. So that's what I'm looking for. Next, I want to just show you something on FOSL. You guys know I play, I think by now, a lot of retracements and things like that. I want to make sure I clarify this with FOSL. I think FOSL is getting close. It's exactly what I'm looking for when I talk to you guys. And depending on the name, I start to eyeball it when it hits this 40% area, and it's now down in this 50% area. So this is when I start getting really intriguing for me to see if I get a turn in the stock. So what I want to look for, this is yesterday's. Let me just pull this up. With the action, I kind of want to see it hold this yesterday's lows a couple times this morning, or if it has a quick fade and makes a a higher low this morning after that open. And it might be something I don't join until 9:45, 10 o'clock. We'll see how it opens. I'm not sure how it's going to open yet, but right now it's pretty much unchanged on the morning. It's 1356.85. So what I want to see is if it doesn't want to hold this and wants to continue, that's okay. I'll continue to watch it, see how it approaches the whole number here, 13. And obviously, that the next area of interest is going to be 1250. So if today's not the day, I'm okay with it. Let it continue to fade. But this did make a good move on, earnings and good news. So I don't think this is going back to where it came from. I think that it is going to turn. I feel that. And I think today possibly could be the day. So I will look for a reversal on this and see what it wants to do at this 1350 level. But I really do like it. I like both my ideas today, and we'll see what happens. Guys, just please, again, we say it every day, but we're going to continue to say it. Stay safe. Be smart about how you're trading. Make sure you guys are following your own rules. And we'll try to keep the ideas coming, but just want to make sure you guys aren't following us. Make sure you guys are coming up with your own thoughts on these names and your own exits and stuff like that. Especially if you're already in the room and you're hearing us chatter about things. Make sure you guys, if you guys like taking quick trades, take quick trades. Don't always look for our exits and entries. So anyway, that's it for me today, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, a good open, and we will chat with you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, 9:05. Appreciate you guys being here. So Ricky, back to you.
On point as always, Goose. And I love that FOSL idea. I think a lot of people thought when it lost 14, they were going to get a much larger move down. And seeing as how they didn't, I think the turn could be a lot closer than most people are expecting. So you're keeping a close eye on that one today. As always, guys, plan your trade your plan. If you don't have a plan, stay the hell out. Everybody, trade safe. Let's crush it. Peace.